This is my first video in a long time where I'm using my real voice. No voice clone, no other speaker, just me.
Oh, wow. How?
My pronunciation might not always be perfect, and I hope you will forgive me for that. I'm sure I will make mistakes, I'm pretty certain of that.
Honestly, I'm getting a bit tired of all the cloned voices out there.
That's why I decided to take this step. And I hope you can bear with how I speak. I know some of you might be a little annoyed that I'm showing off yet another new add-on, but right now this is what I truly enjoy doing. I still have a few small add-on projects in the pipeline, and once they are done, I will go back to working on other kinds of content. I'm also aware that videos like this might cost me a few subscribers, maybe because Blender users aren't exactly known for loving to spend money. But to be honest, developing add-ons like this takes a lot of time, and I think earning a few euros here is totally fair. From these videos themselves, I might take 10 cents, if I'm lucky. Anyway, long story short, here comes the new add-on. I'm excited to introduce you to my latest tool, Pro Measure. With this tool, we can now measure 3D objects. Let's begin by simply activating it via Enable Measurements. Now we have 5 different measurement methods available. Let's start with Object Dimensions. To do that, I just click on an object and its size is immediately displayed, Z, Y and X. Just below that, you will find some useful settings, like adjusting the offset to bring the display closer. You can also set the line thickness, line length and text size here. We can just collapse this section for a moment. It's not essential. When I deselect the object, the display disappears. But if I enable pin objects, the measurement stays visible even after deselecting the object. Now, if I add a new object, for example the Suzanne, you will see it automatically comes with a bounding box. If I rotate it, say 90 degrees forward, the display updates accordingly. This lets us see object dimensions in real time. We can turn that off again. I will also close the panel at the top. Next we have object bounds. This option allows us to create a bounding box around multiple objects. When I click on an object, nothing happens. But when I click on a second object, we see a bounding box appear along with the corresponding settings. If I now activate pin objects, the display remains visible even after I deselect everything. I will go ahead and select Suzanne. If I simply move her around in the scene, you will see that the measurements update instantly. Now if I add a mesh, let's say a sphere, it's automatically included and its measurements are shown in real time. When I rotate it to a side view, we can see everything clearly. Let's quickly undo that and delete the objects for now. And we also deactivate the feature again. Next, we move on to the Object Distance tool. For example, if I duplicate the 2 objects and click first on one and then on the second, we now see a measurement showing the distance between them. When I enable pin objects, I can again deselect everything and just select one object, press the G key to move it, and the distance updates dynamically in real time. I can now add even more objects. Let's go back to Mesh, add Suzanne again, and here distance to other objects is displayed right away. And you can add as many objects as you like, and the distance between them are always shown live. So we can delete that again and deactivate the feature once more. Next up is area measurements. If I click on these objects, switch to edit mode, then to polygon mode and select a face, we can go into the settings, move to the side and see one object, one polygon selected with an area of 4 square meters. If I now select 2 polygons, we get a total of 8 square meters. Naturally, I can also add more objects here. Let's add Suzanne again, move her to the side, and when I select the entire object, we see it has around 500 polygons and a total area displayed accordingly. If I now, for instance, only select the top surface like this and keep the object selected, we can immediately see the measured area for that selection. We now have 2 objects, 6 selected polygons, and the total area in square meters. This is especially useful for architecture planning when you want to determine how large a surface area needs to be. So we will delete that again, then we move on to the next feature, multi-measurements. With multi-measurements we have 3 different modes available: points, edges and polygons. If I now select point, I can move directly over the model. Down here it says click on vertices, right click to cancel or double click to finish. For example, I click on this point, then on this one, and finally on a third point, and now I double click. The measurement is now displayed. I can also adjust the settings here again, for example increase the text size. We can also modify the individual lines. Now we see that the angle measures 90 degrees. What's nice here is that if I enter edit mode, for example in point mode, the measurement stays attached to the model. You also see the angles dynamically adjust in real time. And yes, this also works across different models. For example, if I now, let's add another cube, now back here at the same spot, it works just in same. I can go here, then over there, and finally to this point, and the corresponding vertices are updated instantly. This also works seamlessly across different objects. The great thing is, we now have a clear overview of all the measurements we have created. We see measurement 1, our first, and measurement 2, the second one. If any of them get in the way visually, we can simply hide them using the icons or rename them as needed. Let's click on the edit button here and rename it. For example, my measure. Now it appears as my measure and we can toggle its visibility at any time. And if we want to remove it, we can simply click the delete icon here. So now we can activate edge mode. If I go over here now, the edges are measured instead of the points. That means as I hover over the model, I can select, for example, this edge and then that one, and the measurement appears here. I can continue by clicking additional edges as needed. For instance, here and here. Now we have got these 2 edges measured as well. If we don't need them anymore, we can delete them. So I will go ahead and remove them again. This one is also removed automatically. Let's now duplicate the object and test everything with polygons. I switch to polygon mode, then select one face, and as expected, it measures the distance between the selected polygons. Each time we make a selection, all information is displayed clearly and instantly. For example, we can enable show length display. If I now delete the object, go back to another one, switch again to point mode and measure from here to there and back again, everything is shown clearly. Now we can, for example, see the angles. And if we would rather see the outer angle instead of the inner one, it now displays 275.7 degrees. Or if we only want to show the length, that's possible too. Absolutely no problem. The sizes can also be adjusted at any time. Now here we can switch to meters if we want. By default we see the measurements in meters, but if I switch to centimeters, everything is automatically recalculated, completely based on what we want to see here. It depends entirely on the model and the scale it was created in. Let's quickly measure a few things again, maybe here and over there, and display the object dimensions once more. Then at any time we can click disable measurements at the top and all measurement overlays disappear. If that's distracting or unnecessary for the moment, or we simply want to hide them temporarily, we can click the same button again and all the measurements will reappear. So that's it for now. I hope you liked my talking a little bit and that you find the tool useful. You can buy it on Gumroad for a small price and soon also on Superhive Market. We'll find the links in the description. Please don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Otherwise, I might stop posting and say goodbye forever. See you soon. Bye.